Welcome to Community Talk, a public affairs presentation of the MSA United Way and Super Talk 1270. Now your host, Jenna Gullo.
Good morning, Bismarck Mandan. Hope you all are keeping warm. Sun's shining. It's beautiful outside. Co-hosting with me today is Ms. Amber Jensen, busy as ever at the United Way office. Amber is our operations manager and media specialist.
New title. I like it.
You get a new one every day, depending on which hat you're wearing.
That's right.
We have a small office staff at our United Way. There's only 6 of us that are actually employed. And so thank goodness we have a great volunteer base. So if you're listening out there, you know us, you love us, we love you. Thanks for helping the United Way. So no, in all sincerity, I'm a little punchy today because we've just had some really exciting news. Basin Electric's campaign, they revealed what they raised.
Just came in. Are we going to announce it live here on Super Talk 1270?
I think we should.
Ooh.
I really think we should because, Basin Electric, they've always been our number one donor. Actually, the last 3 years, they've been our number one donor in the community. And the CEO over there, Mr. Paul Sukett, what a guy. Everyone that knows him really does love him because he's so down to earth and humble and smart. And he has agreed to match dollar for dollar the employee gifts this year.
And so what did you find out on Friday for Live United Day?
Yeah, it was really exciting. So on Live United Day on Friday, the governor proclaimed throughout the state of North Dakota that it was Live United Day. And so we visited our top businesses in the community and people who have really gone that extra mile for us. And Basin, of course, was at the top of the list. And their goal this year for all of their employees was $110,000. They exceeded that by giving over 120, which is then matched dollar for dollar. So I think their total is right around $243,000.
That is just incredible. We definitely cannot say enough about all the support that we receive from Basin Electric. Actually, just this morning, I got a call from one of their employees, Jackie, looking to get involved in the Giving Tree. And so she said, I need 20 to 30 names. Can you make that happen? And I said, absolutely. And so they're always besides just giving dollars, they're giving of their time too.
Well, remember last year, they and a few other businesses in town filled our entire United Way dining room and downstairs. Because for those of you who haven't visited us yet, we're right at 515 North 4th Street in between Avenue A and Rosser. So stop in anytime. We're usually always there. Always. Every hour on the hour. But we're always there. And I remember Basin and a number of other businesses supported United Way's Giving Tree program. Tell our listeners, in case they're looking for some ways to get involved this Christmas season, what that even means.
Absolutely. We make little tags that you can put on your Christmas tree in your office that either your employees can take, your customers can take, and we just ask that you wrap them, have a lot of fun with it. And so the tag might say, male, 8 years old, really likes Spider-Man. And so you can kind of go shopping and have a lot of fun with this. And so maybe instead of giving your gift to coworkers and maybe they don't need anything, you take a couple of tags off your employees or your coworkers' Giving Tree and do that for those in need in our community. So it's a really simple. You can call the United Way office 255-3601. Just let us know how many tags you would like. We make them all up for you. They're on little Christmas trees, and so they're already ready, and it's easy just to add to your tree that you already have in your office.
And so I can help translate for listeners out there. You can take a tag or you can take a tag, like we say it back home. Whichever one, in case you weren't sure what Amber was saying there, a tag, T-A-G. But no, we also have some other exciting giving options. If you go online to our United Way, you're going to see some Christmas gift options. So for people who have absolutely everything, and I can think of almost everyone around me that doesn't need any more stuff. And it's so hard sometimes trying to figure out what in the heck am I going to give them for Christmas this year. Well, why don't you sponsor a child through United Way as their Christmas gift. So do it in their honor. You'll get a gift certificate to be able to give to them to explain what you did for them. You can do this even for, your coworkers or maybe your employees at your job, because even $5 supports a United Way backpack program. And you can say, I made sure a child didn't go hungry this weekend in your honor. Or I provided a night of shelter for $26. I provided a child, in the Imagination Library, 12 books for an entire year, $25. So there's really affordable options. Even making sure that kids have scholarships to Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, that, food is recovered through many of our programs in the Bismarck, Mandan, and greater surrounding area, making sure meals are delivered to the elderly. These are all different gift-giving options. And like I said, you'll actually have a physical card to be able to give them. And it means so much more.
Yeah, so visit msaunitedway.org. Click on the banner right on our website to see the options. Pick as many as you want. And like Jenna said, it's really simple. It's nice because we print the card for you. We mail it back directly to the address that you put on the envelope, and you give it there. And it just means so much more when you can, instead of buying that pair of socks that maybe they don't need, or, it just has that meaning and connection to the community and giving back.
Yeah, and think about all the little trinkets you waste money on. And people don't have places to store them.
Black elephant or white elephant gifts that you buy for your coworkers.
Yeah. Or you can order a pie, a Thanksgiving pie from the Burleigh County Senior Center. We just had a realtor call our office last week. She's going to buy a pie for every client of hers. She's ordering 50 from Burleigh County Senior Centers. And they all the donations are going towards their United Way campaign, so back into the community.
Wow, I think I need to place my order. I'm sure that's probably due this week.
Wish I could take some back home with me to Western New York.
That's right.
My poor mother is going to be slaving away. I'll be watching her. I'll be providing the moral support in the kitchen. So speaking of Thanksgiving, there are some ways that people can still become involved this next week.
Yeah, we still have 3 Thanksgiving baskets, so we reached out to our agencies and asked if they have clients or people that they know in the community that could use a little support this Thanksgiving holiday. And so we asked for those names, and United Way is putting together Thanksgiving baskets thanks to generous businesses and individuals in our community. So it's just an opportunity for them to have their own meal and to be able to provide that for their family. And so we put together a basket full of food, and then we deliver it out to those families in need.
Yeah, and a lot of families don't have transportation to be able to get out to the Thanksgiving meal at 8 Incorporated. But they are having their annual Thanksgiving meal, so you can call them up, 8 Incorporated in Mandan. But if you're still in need of a Thanksgiving basket, our United Way donors are incredibly generous, and we're sure to be able to find one for you or for someone that you know. Give us a call or go online, msaunitedway.org. We will be back in just a couple minutes to talk with the Burleigh County Social Services Director, Kim Ozacek.
Right now, 32.
Weekends with Stacy Keach, Richard Syrett, and Leo Laporte on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back. You are listening to United Way's Community Talk. I am Jenna Gullo, co-hosting with Ms. Amber Jensen.
Good morning, everyone.
So, Amber, you hear me a lot at the office, or you oftentimes are in the office when I get the call as a foster parent, and they usually say, we have a situation, it's about 4:59. Can you run down to social services? We have some little kids that need a safe place. And you know what? I'm happy to do it. I've been a foster parent since 2008, and I'm not a full-time, long-term placement. I think it'd be not impossible, but just with my lifestyle and work schedule demanding. But I try to help where I can. And hopefully after today's discussion, more people will feel that way and be able to say, if Jenna can do it, I can do it. So we are talking with Kim Ozacek. Kim is the Director of Burleigh County Social Services. Kim, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So Kim, I guess the let's just start off with, Is there a need in Burleigh County for more foster parents?
There is a need. While our cases are lower for our children in foster care, we still have a need for new foster parents. We tend to get, when kids come into care, we tend to get large families of kids coming into care, and we have a hard time placing all of our children together. And so we try to do that when it's the federal government really promotes that we place kids together. If they're not placed together, then we try to have like family sibling visits and stuff. I mean, it's really scary for little kids coming into care and not knowing anybody except the stranger now.
You know, I think about that every single time a new child walks into my home. That feeling of, gosh, even as an adult, I remember in a past job, I'd travel around the country and sometimes stay overnight or weekends with donors because I'd be speaking at different masses or different church groups, etc. And I remember thinking it was kind of scary as an adult sleeping in a stranger's home. And I can't imagine as a young child having to go through that. And I think if anyone at home is listening or in their car, think about if your child, 10 years old, was torn away from you for, whatever reason, that poor child, it's hard to really imagine what they experience and go through.
I think children do go through quite a bit. They are experienced, that they experience, and they don't have the stability in their home life, which is hard on them. A lot of children tend to be the parents in a lot of situations. And so when you have 6-7-year-old kind of being the parent to the 2-year-old, that's really hard. And then they go into a family home and now they have a parent figure there, and they've got to listen to them and let them be the parents. So that's hard on children too.
And that's hard at any age, because I remember when I first started providing foster care, I was so worried about the kids breaking things, like breaking my washer or dryer. Because, they're expensive items. And then when you get to know these kids, you realize they've been doing their own laundry since for many, many, many years. They've been cooking their own meals. They know how to cook better than I do some of the time. Not necessarily the healthiest choices, but they learn it's survival for them.
Right. They're very vulnerable, and it is survival for them.
So what are some of the things that you tried to provide to these kids to help ease that transition? Do they get a bag, or are there needs for those types of supplies?
We actually have a donation room down in our basement, and we just moved it, and so it's a little bit bigger now, and we can actually see things that we have now for clothing and stuff. Because a lot of times kids come in, when they do come into foster care, they have nothing but the clothes on their back. And sometimes it's in the middle of the night, and they just have their pajamas on, and that's all they have. That's it. And so we take them downstairs and try to get them the accurate size clothing and toothbrushes, shampoo, conditioner, all those necessities. So, and that's very traumatic for kids when they're taken with nothing.
You know what I really like is when most times the kids will come to my house in the middle of the night and they'll be holding on to one of those tie blankets, those fleece tie blankets. And there must be church groups in town that make those for you.
We do get some donations from the church groups that make those blankets, and
those that mean everything. They mean everything to those kids. It becomes their security.
Right.
So are there needs for donations right now?
We always accept donations. We have a hard time with teenage children, boys and girls, finding appropriate clothing for them that actually fits. So for the smaller children, we tend to have quite a few, but we'll always take more donations.
Shields just gave us a big box of sneakers, and their sizes, adult sizes, but from size 6 to maybe 8, 9, 10, I saw some, because we can absolutely share some of those with you, because we're giving some to the local high schools too. And
it'd be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned something earlier. You said that the caseloads are actually down.
We're down the goal that we have is to reunify children with their families. I mean, they're not to, the Adoption and Safe Families Act is to try to keep children safe, but also reunify them with their families, so try to provide services around them. So they may come into foster care on a temporary basis while we try to work with the families on providing services to them so they can be successful parents to their children, and we can return the children home or find a suitable family member to provide care for these children while the parent or parents get things straightened out in their life so they can have their children back. So we do have a shortage, though, of foster homes.
And so do you offer those services to the parent or the parents at your agency, or do you use other community programs to help assist in making that change?
We do both. So we have what we call in-home services. And so that's actually, we try to do it more preventative. So before children even come into care, if we identify that families, there might be some needs for some things, we assign a caseworker and they go out and they try to work with those families on providing those services up front before it gets to the foster care level. We also have parent aides who come and work actually with the parents on maybe it's parenting skills, structure, could be laundry, housekeeping. There's a variety of things that they can work with our parents on. And so those parent aides work with the families while the kids are in the home and also when they're out of the home. And so it can be that little case management piece. We also refer to a lot of outside agencies for parenting classes. It could be substance abuse in evaluation and treatment. It could be mental health, evaluation and a treatment. Those are two huge issues that we have in this community right now. They might be having some legal issues, or they might have to do some things with their probation officer. So we try to locate any services to help make that parent successful.
Well, and you also reach out to other family members, sometimes
Correct.
before and also during foster care.
Yep. We have to try, by law, we have to try to figure out, is their family suitable for these children? Because they want to try to keep families together in the family unit they're familiar with. They actually should know some of these family members. If they're Native American, we try to keep them in the Native American tribe that they're a member of. So, but we are constantly looking at family members who could take these children if they're in foster care.
Is there a big need for more Native American homes? Because I know it just seems like I thought I saw on the news story that there's only 39 foster homes.
There's 39
And
licensed
so,
foster homes.
and are all of those foster homes filled? And are you needing more foster homes of Native Americans, or?
We're always looking for Native American foster homes. We have very, very few. So, and that's really important for a lot of families to keep that culture alive for those children.
And so sometimes does it involve having the kids move to different states, or do you try to keep them here in North Dakota?
Well, our goal is to try to reunify and at all costs, at all possibilities. But sometimes if we can't find suitable family here, but there is out of state, we will do an interstate compact with the family in another state, so they can provide foster care for the children. So it makes the reunification piece a little bit harder, but yet they're still with family that they are familiar with.
And so we do want to hear more from you, Kim. So you're going to stay with us after this break. But I want to learn more for those listening. What are some of the common frustrations and challenges that you're hearing, both from the social worker's perspective and also from the foster parent's perspective? And then let's tell people too, what do they need to be doing? What does that process look like to become a foster parent? What are the different options if they can't commit long term? Maybe they could do short term. Maybe they could do respite or emergency foster care. We are talking with Kim Ozacek. She is the Burleigh County Social Services Director, and you are listening to United Way's Community Talk. Please think about getting more involved. You can visit our volunteerbizman.com website today, or you can give today at MSA unitedway.org.
Right now, 32.
Weekends with Gary Sullivan, Steve Dahl, and Dr. Bob Martin on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back. You are listening to United Way's Community Talk. I am Jenna Gullo. Co-hosting with me today is Ms. Amber Jensen, the operations manager and the rock star at MSA United Way.
Good morning, and I was just thinking we should do a plug for 96 Hours of Caring, and thank you to Town Square Media for allowing us to come on those 4 days to talk about all the work that United Way does for the community and just what those needs are in our community, especially as we're going throughout our campaign season right now.
Yeah, it's amazing all the donations collected. People gave online. People brought food and different items. People even gave a stereo for one of our foster group homes. So thank you to everyone in Town Square Media for doing that year after year. We've been doing it a number of years, and it just keeps getting bigger and better every year. And thanks to all the sponsors that host us at their locations.
That's right. I just sent out those thank you cards. So J&R Vacuum, Dakota Community Bank, Carpet World, and Cashwise. So thank you to them.
And a lot of work goes into that, and 8 charities are selected every year, and we're just blessed to always be one of them. So thanks so much to Town Square Media, and thanks also for donating the airtime for our show. You can find us here every other Tuesday at Super Talk 1270 from 11 to noon. So we are talking today with the Director of Burleigh County Social Services, Kim Ozacek. Kim, thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you.
So, Kim, you've been on the job for about 2.5 years now.
Correct.
That just seems like it has gone by so quickly for me, but I'm sure for you it's been a lot of fun, exciting challenges, unique challenges, and also just very trying for your social workers and seeing what the needs are and being in. It's got to be a job where you really get burnt out pretty quickly.
There's a lot of burnout in child welfare. It's really hard to see children not have the best home life and being taken out of their home and put in foster care and then returned home, and it's going to possibly fail. I mean, for all the efforts you do. So it's very hard on a person.
So legally, I mean, there are people making these decisions. Explain to our listeners just how that process works, because your goal is to reunify those children with their family, hopefully their parent, but if not, family members.
That's correct. So when children are removed from their parents' care, they have what it's called a shelter care hearing, which is the first 96 hours after the removal. And that is in front of a judicial referee at the county, and they hear the case, and the caseworker will put together an affidavit as to what reasonable efforts have been made to try to keep the child in the home, and if there is any way to return the child now, and how that process goes. So sometimes kids are returned home at that time. The judicial referee will find that they don't have enough, there hasn't been enough reasonable efforts made. They don't think that the county has a strong enough case to keep the child in the home, and that the parents can provide a safe and adequate home life for those children.
Are the parents at that point put on any type of probation?
Not really.
That's frustrating, isn't it?
No, I mean, sometimes parents can be charged with child abuse or neglect, but sometimes they're not. So there may not be any probation. So we try to, even if children are returned home, if the judicial referee does return the child home, we still try to go out and work with those families and offer services or in-home services or parent aid to try to help those families so we don't have that child coming back into foster care.
So how long is it typically before a parent's rights are terminated? Is there a typical scenario?
Well, according to the Adoption Safe Families Act, it's supposed to be within 15 months. If there needs to be a permanent plan for that child within 15 months. And if not, then we need to start down that process of termination, unless there is some sort of reason why it wouldn't be in the child's best interest to terminate
Like what?
parental rights. If the child were 17 or 18 or close to 18, 16, I mean, we might want to do more independent living and
Get them into other programs. Like, do you work with Youth Works or some
Yes,
of
we
those
utilize-
programs in town?
Yeah.
So what's really neat, though, is that kids can actually, once they're 18, sign themselves back into a foster care now.
They can. They have that option that children, when they turn 18, they can sign themselves back into foster care, and we'll still provide case management services for those kids, and they can stay with the same foster family. And we've had some cases that have been really successful.
I was going to say, have you been seeing a need for that, or is that increased now that that's available?
Not really. I mean, we have a couple here and there, but some kids will sign themselves back in, and they'll be in for 6 months or 8 months, and then they're done. Then they're done with it. And
Well, if you think about it, I mean, what 18-year-old, while they're longing for family, I'm sure every child is, and that support, they also don't want to have rules. You know, they're free, and they're finally able to kind of do what they want. But it's sad because if you think about your own 18-year-olds out there, and they're so not ready to be out on their own and alone in the world. And it's just scary. Have you seen, or have you been connected to any of the issues with these kids once they are 16, 17, 18 years old, being victims of, I guess, victims of abuse, whether it's being taken advantage of sexually or otherwise?
I can't say I see it now. I haven't been at this position long enough, but in my current positions, yes, it happens a lot. It's sad. It's really sad that a lot of times children that were victims of sexual abuse or physical abuse tend to cycle through, and that's really sad. And so we try to get them the help they need, the therapy and services put around them, so they don't make those same mistakes or that maybe their parent did.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's nice as a foster parent is that you're not on your own. Burley County Social Services, your social workers are very active in the kids' lives, and they even help sometimes with transportation if you're in a bind, and they're so good out there. Talk to our listeners about what is the process of becoming a foster parent.
So the process to become a foster parent is you have to fill out an application, and then we'll have a home study. So we have one worker, Barb Stegmiller.
Love Barb. I just love that lady.
And she's been there for many, many years. And Barb, she does all of our foster care licensing. And so she does the home studies, and she'll help them with the background checks, because we have to have a criminal background check to make sure that there's nothing in there that would prevent them from providing adequate care for these children. And then we have them go through the PRIDE training, so the foster parent training. And then the other thing we started doing, we changed Barb's role a little bit, because before there wasn't one person that did just foster care licensing. It was kind of spread out, and because they carried cases as well. And so we really specialized that for just Barb to do the licensing. And then she's also that support person now for the foster parents. So when we get new foster parents coming in, you may have a rough night, you may not know what is available to you, and sometimes it may be challenging to get a hold of your caseworker because they're running around trying to get the affidavit completed and trying to work with the families, and I mean, it may be a lot of court things, so they may not be as accessible to the foster parent, but that's why we have Barb. And so she can help fill in those gaps and ask them, how are things going? What do you need help with? Do we need to help with daycare? Do we need to help locate some daycare for you? She can also help answer questions and let them know, hey, you have a child, you can go sign up for WIC. A lot of times foster parents didn't even know that. So just some of those things, or the child may be displaying some behaviors in the home, and Barb can help walk them through that. So she's that contact person for them, always checking in with them, what else do you need? What can we help with? And then she also puts out a newsletter to all of our foster parents on a monthly basis just about what's going on in Burleigh County, what's new. Hey, did you know this? So we do have that.
So how long does it take to fill out that application, do the home study, and then also go through the training before you're considered a foster parent? How long is that process?
Well, the home study, it can vary. It can be a month. It can be a little bit longer than a month. It just depends on how many she's got waiting, and if she has any other home studies or ICPCs that she has to do. But the training, the Pride training, can take a little bit longer because it might not be offered right that month. So that could take a little, but it could be a couple months, but minimal time.
So we are talking with Kim Ozacek, the director of Burleigh County Social Services. Kim, I don't want to forget, how do people get in touch with Barb? If they want to sign up to be a foster parent, what do they do first?
Call Burleigh County. And so our number is 222-6670. That's kind of our backdoor number. And so you don't have to go through the receptionist. If you want to hit 0 and talk to the receptionist, you sure can. They're lovely, lovely ladies. And Barb's extension is 253.
Okay. So 222-6670. 222-6670. We want lots of people plugging that into their phone right now. Extension 253, and ask for Barb. Tell her Jenna said hello, because I love that woman. So also, Kim, I want to make sure we talk real quickly about what are the things someone should think about before becoming a foster parent. What are those important questions they should ask themselves?
Gosh. I think, can you be that parent figure for that child and provide a safe place and support for that child? Because that child may get up in the middle of the night and start screaming because they miss their mom and dad. And so it's just to provide that empathy for that child.
Empathy, stability, you name it. Gosh, Kim, thank you for the work that you and your team does at Burleigh County Social Services. We are grateful to have you in our county. People listening in, call 222-6670, extension 253, ask for Barb, and sign up to be a foster parent today.
Right now, 34.
The Jim Bohannon Show is here. Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back. You are listening to United Way's Community Talk. I am Jenna Gullo, your host today, and we appreciate you all tuning in. It is time to give back this Christmas season. Ms. Amber Jensen, the operations manager, is going to tell you ways that you can get involved right away.
Yeah, so we have a couple different options right now. We are currently making Thanksgiving Day baskets for those families in need. And so we've had multiple businesses contact us and say, hey, we want to make sure those people in our community are fed for the Thanksgiving holidays and have a safe meal that they can stay in their home. And so we have 3 baskets left. And so if you're a business in town and want to sponsor a family in need during the Thanksgiving holiday, please call our office 255-3601. We also have our giving tree. And so if you're looking as a company to add some tags to your giving tree, we have those available at our office. And so again, call our office 255-3601. You can take 5 names, you can take 20 names. We just had Basin Electric called our office and wanted 30. And so we have a lot of needs in our community for a lot of people that might not get something for Christmas. And so please call our office so we can make sure those gaps in our community are filled. The other option is if you're struggling to find a Christmas gift for somebody, whether it be a coworker, your family members, you don't want to buy another packet of socks for them. United Way has multiple giving options that you can sponsor a child so that they get 12 books in the mail. Help sponsor a night of shelter. And so what we do is you fill out those gift options that you want to give this holiday season. And in return, United Way will send a card notifying that individual what you purchased in their honor. And so a lot of great ways to give back this holiday season. Make sure you check out msaunitedway.org for all of those Christmas giving ideas. ideas, or if you want to get volunteer hours during the holiday season, visit volunteerbizman.com.
United Way is about filling the gaps in the community, making sure agencies aren't duplicating efforts, and making sure needs are met. We target solutions, but we also do the one-time assistance like the Christmas gifts or rental or utility assistance. Overall, though, we are targeting the root causes of so many issues. We're making sure kids are reading by the 4th grade, because if they're not proficient by 4th grade, they are 4 times more likely to drop out of school. So we have evidence-based tutors, readers, mentors going in. They're spending time with these kids every single day. And it's not just low-income kids, but we do know the low-income children in our community, 40% of those kids are not reading proficiently by the 4th grade. That means 40% of our low-income population in Bismarck and Mandan are 4 times more likely to drop out of school. It's not fair. I mean, just because of the environment in which they were raised, we're able to, basically predict the trajectory of their life. So when you give through United Way, you are changing lives, and you're also providing that one-time support that's often needed. Let me tell you this. Amanda and Nick. Amanda works at the Chamber of Commerce, and she's just a good gal. She and her husband are sponsoring a family for this Christmas, and they came to us saying we'd like to help a family in need. So we just got some more information on the family, and the mother is dying of cancer and is currently in a nursing home. She's actually expected to die this week. And her own daughter, her oldest, is 28. The 28-year-old has a child who's 5. And so that 28-year-old has agreed to take on the responsibilities for her 2 younger brothers who are 16 and 17 years old. Can you imagine being 28, losing your mother, first of all, being on your own, and having to take care of 3 young kids? Gosh, and this is a true story right here in Bismarck. The daughter is also trying to continue her education in college. And so they are wanting help with gas cards so that the 28-year-old daughter/mom can get to school and also get to and from counseling appointments. They're looking for maybe some gift cards. We have sizes for the 5-year-old, the 6-year-old, and the 17-year-old. They also like music. They like toys. They like trains. They don't want anything specific. I mean, it's heartbreaking. And these are real life stories in our community. I mean, last October, we had a family living in their car in Cashwise parking lot. This is happening. It might seem invisible to each of us in our daily routines, but it's absolutely a need out there. There's so many ways you can step up. You want to, sponsor a family for Thanksgiving or Christmas, call United Way. You want to get online. And instead of buying trinkets or socks, as Amber says, that must be your favorite gift for people, huh,
I hate
Amber?
socks.
So, you can sponsor a child in Girl Scouts. You can get them books in the mail through our Dolly Parton Imagination Library. You can get a backpack full of food through United Way's backpack program. It's $5. Go online right now. It's msaunitedway.org. We are talking with Kim Ozacek. She's the director of Burleigh County Social Services. And Kim, you want to recruit foster parents. It's a simple and easy process. Tell our listeners what are some options for people. It's not about signing your life away.
No. Sometimes people come in and they want to be foster parents because they want to eventually adopt. So that's always a possibility. But again, we have to go through all the legal process before rights can be terminated on parents. So that's very serious, and it doesn't always happen like that. But sometimes it does. Sometimes we get smaller children in, and for whatever reason, the parents don't follow through on their case plan, and they agree to sign their parental rights away, and we terminate them, and then the foster parents can adopt that child. So we have had cases of that. We also have a need for foster parents. They can also provide respite care. So they don't have to have a child with them all the time, but if another foster family is needing a break or is going to go on a trip and they can't take the kids with, then we can put them in a respite foster family for a short time period. It might be a weekend, it may be, a week. it just depends. So we can work with them however we need to.
What's really nice about that is you can plan it into your
Correct.
schedule. So you can look at your work schedule, look at your, other obligations. You can say, okay, yeah, I could do that week and I can pitch in and help out. And you're helping out foster parents that do it full-time, long-term. Oftentimes they just need a break. Maybe a young couple just needs some space and some time just to be themselves again without kids all around. We all know how that changes your life so dramatically. So it's a nice way that you can help out. You're not obligated to any amount of weeks. It's whatever fits into your schedule, and there's a big need for that.
There is a big need. And then we also have a need for emergency foster homes, and I know Jenna does quite a few emergency placements for us, and that's the calls we get in the middle of the night. Children are needing to be placed that night because for whatever reason the parent is not able to take them or care for them at that time, and we can't locate any family immediately. So we try to find those foster parents that will open their homes in the middle of the night to take these children. What we have had happen, and it's not, I don't like this to happen, and it's just not a good situation, is when we can't find any foster parents to answer their homes or take the kids, and we have to have the social worker stay in the building with the children for the night. I mean, there's no beds. We don't have beds. We don't have any of that there. So that's really sad until we can find placement. But it has happened. So,
that feels horrible. I'll do better with answering my phone.
Thank you.
But the nice thing about doing emergency foster care is that typically, actually always, in my experience, you're not giving that child back to their family, which can sometimes be a very scary situation and can be frustrating for a foster parent. Mm-hmm. You're giving them to another foster home, which you have great confidence in is going to provide the stability, the love, the care that these kids need, even the basic, daily needs that they have. And so it's harder because you're seeing the kids at the most traumatic time, and it's scary for them and for you, but at the same time it's easier because you're able to move them on to a more permanent and stable home.
That's correct. So, yeah.
So Kim, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, and then we have just general foster care that, you may have a child or children for 6 months possibly while the parents get their life straightened out and so they can provide a safe environment for their children. So that is that possibility too. And sometimes foster parents develop a relationship with the parents, and which is kind of nice that they can help model some good parenting behavior. And if a parent gets stuck on what to do if a child's not listening to them, then, sometimes they can call the foster parents. But that's up to the foster parent whether they want to develop that relationship or not. They don't have to by any means, but they can if they would like to.
Yeah, and it's important, especially when the overall goal is to reunify these kids. And I'll tell you, there has not been one kid I've ever taken care of that has not wanted their family. And I think we can all relate to that. All relate to that. So, Kim, how do people get in touch with you? How can they sign up?
They can call Burleigh County Social Services at 222-6670. And you can dial 0 and talk to our lovely receptionists who do a great job every day. Or you could bypass them and dial extension 253 and ask for Barb.
Tell Barb I said hi if you give her a call today. The number is 222-6670, extension 253. Please pray on this. Become a foster parent today. Our community needs you. There are so many kids that need you. And definitely get more involved in United Way. It's not too late to have an employee campaign at your place of business. So call us up, get more information, or go online at msaunitedway.org. Thanks for listening.
ABC News, Super Talk 1270. Accurate news, stimulating talk. This is KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck.